You are listening to the Savage FINcast Retro, Episode 5, Savage Dragon Ongoing, Issue Number 1 and 2.
Chicago. A criminal mastermind called Overlord held our city in his terrifying grip. Ordinary cops were losing the battle against Overlord's super freaks and mutants. Then, a miracle happened. When I found him, he had no memory of his past. I helped him find an identity and a life. Now we have a fighting chance. Now we have the dragon.
This is a Savage FINcast, the podcast that's on a half shell. I'm Raven Perez.
I'm Jim Purcell.
I'm Craig Olson.
And with us is a very, very special guest, creator of many, many Savage Dragon backups, and his own creator-owned title, Juice Man, Chicago's beefiest hero. Scott James. Welcome to the show, Scott.
Hey, welcome, guys. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Scott,
Thanks
no
for
problem.
joining. Appreciate it. Listeners, you are checking out a special sort of Savage FINcast. It's our Savage FINcast Retro Review, where we go back into the past and we review the Savage Dragon issues and Savage Dragon relevant issues in the original publishing order. And today we are going to be doing Savage Dragon 1 and 2 of the ongoing. So, how about it?
We finally have gotten to Savage Dragon number 1.
Which is funny. It sounds funny, right?
Yeah.
After how many years?
What? It's been 7?
Yes, 9/7.
9/7 years.
9/7 years. We finally made it. So much has changed.
Yeah. But yeah, we've done a lot of the retro episodes already, and we're only just getting to the ongoing now, which it was the entire plan all along.
It is hilarious, I think, to really sort of realize that big gap there was.
Yeah.
Between the mini and the ongoing, you know what I mean? Like this retro really drove it home.
How many months is it between? So, I mean, just for the listeners, we had the mini, then we went into the Wild Star, which is kind of running at the same time as the ongoing number 1 comes out. Is that correct?
Yep. Kinda, give or
And
take.
then we had Savage Dragon Megaton Man.
Well,
That's right. I missed that. I forgot about that.
I'm pretty sure Savage Dragon miniseries number 1 came out March 92, right?
You know, we can wiki this. Listeners, you can wiki it too, so it's fine.
It was in 92 because I remember getting it signed by Eric in Chicago back in the day. So,
Chicago.
Fancy pants.
But
no, I mean, and that was way back. I was a big Jim Lee fan. So for me, and Silvestri, so that was back when Image really took off in 92, and they were there at Chicago Comic-Con. It was before Wizard took it over and turned it to shit. But I remember standing in a tent in the line, and I was all about Jim Lee, and I happened to grab the Dragon issues. And I got as you're shuffling through, I had no fucking clue who Jim Valentino was, and at that time, nor did I care.
Really, you didn't read Guardians at all?
No, I didn't. The art didn't. I didn't like the art. And again, we've talked. I'm an art guy, not a story guy. For me, the story and the art need to go hand in hand.
Yeah.
I was a big Jim Lee fan, and at that time, as I hate to say it, I wasn't a big Larson fan. Right. I just went through. I was there for Silvestri, and I was there for Larson, or I'm sorry, Silvestri and Lee. And I met Larson, and just that interaction, that initial interaction that I had with him, I was like, oh, dude, that's cool. He's cool. I need to check out more of his stuff. Yeah. And that's what got me going. Just that passion. Did he
spend a lot of time talking to you? I mean, because this is back in the time when these guys were like superstars lines, around the block. And like, what was your interaction like that made you feel that way? Whereas I feel like back then you were just getting kind of past, quick signature, probably the next person to the next person because they got a million people waiting.
It was that, but it was the way he talked about his character.
Yeah.
It was different.
Mm-hmm.
There was like that passion behind it. And, you could tell that it was not a flash in the pan. It was more, no. He had a backstory. There was that passion when he was talking about his character and the characters that, that were to come. He was into it. Where, Jim Lee and Silvestri, they really couldn't give two shits. It was
making that money, baby.
That was it. Eric didn't have that feel. It was more, no, I'm passionate about. No, it's the character. It's all about the character. It's developing the character.
Have you guys watched that Image Revolution documentary?
I haven't yet, man.
Yes, I have.
Everybody's been telling me to.
It's on Amazon Prime, so I actually did the Kickstarter on that. It's a pretty good documentary. It has its flaws, but so I was collecting in the beginning, but I never went to a comic convention probably until I want to say the late 90s. So I missed all that. Mm-hmm. But it's pretty interesting to watch and to see how all the guys kind of form their own studios. And Jim Lee had Homage Studios, and I didn't realize Silvestri, or I didn't remember Silvestri was part of that for a while before he separated. But those guys were all, at first I think the thought was that they were each going to do their own book and concentrate on that one book. But as soon as the sales came out, a lot of those guys started just throwing more characters out and hiring more people. Yeah. And so it just got real diluted. Mm-hmm. And so they talk about it in the documentary, which was interesting. And, one of the things is Larson kind of really just kept it with Dragon. And he had little spin-offs here and there, but it's not like they were saying some of these guys like Liefeld and Lee just hired 30, 40 people.
Mostly from Silvestri.
Yeah. There was that one. That's kind of the downfall of it. But even before Silvestri left Homage Studios had 20 or 30 people in it alone. So it got real watered down, and that's one thing that I do like about Larson is he kind of stuck with it as kind of his own little operation. Very few people, and it made the content a lot stronger.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's funny because they, like he said in the past, he's everybody just had. It's really funny because he's everybody is always champions that, and he always shuts it down and makes it no, we all just had different goals. But it's dude, if it was me, I'd be hell yeah, dude, I'm the only one that's was true.
Dude, you want to hear something crazy? In that documentary, they talk about when reality hits Liefeld. And he almost loses his mind because one of the recent comics he puts out only makes 300,000 in sales, and they're like, oh fuck, they're reality hit, I can't do this, and it's you listen to those numbers and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
For them, they were losing their mind, the world was crumbling.
I mean, that's the way success always is, though. It's 300,000 in the year 2019 is fucking baller. You're doing better than Batman. But back then that was
back then it was right before the big crash, and yeah.
Well, it's with Ninja Turtles being black and white. Oh, we didn't sell enough to make it worthwhile to be color. And you're like, what?
You're right. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good ride, though. I mean, just like I said, looking at all these, and it feels good to have picked that book that lasted. We've mentioned it before.
Yeah.
But just imagine if you were a fucking Strike Force fan. You're fucked. You don't get that.
Yeah, but even people that are passionate, I feel like Eric is just beyond passionate because this is all he really wants to do.
Yeah,
drawing his own character. There's so many other artists out there that really would want to make it work and try and just be I can't. Sales aren't good enough. I have to do something else.
Dude, I gotta tell you, I'm not gonna name names because that's not right. But I have a shit ton of comic bros, and It's funny because there's like people that are where I would love to be success-wise.
Yeah.
And they're like, when they talk, they're like, yeah, I see me just not, drawing anymore. In like 5 years, I'll be done. And I'm just like, what the hell? Like, you're doing good. Like, you're doing great. Like, why would you ever quit? And there you go. Like, with Eric, it's like, yeah, he would probably, like, if he was, like, making Jeff Bezos level money, there would still be a Savage Dragon book. Like, he'd just sit around and just make the book.
Well, I think the other thing, too, that he's kind of said in the past, and maybe it was in the documentary, too, is that he was pretty good with his money. Like, he didn't just blow it all, so everything he made, he kind of, he pretty much saved it, or, he lived kind of like a normal dude and not just buying cars for friends and blowing it on Youngblood spaceships and fucking giant foamy monsters.
No, he invested it in Kirby art.
Yeah, that's true, too, and that skyrocketed. But I don't see him selling that.
Oh, no way in hell. But
it's going to be a nice gift to the kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's sitting on that heap of gold there,
They were probably going for, like, some of those pages less than $1,000. $300-$400 for some Commandy pages a page, which seemed like huge. Now you look at those prices, it's insane.
Thanks, MCU.
Well, a different time. I mean, Kirby was still alive.
Yeah, exactly.
For a while there.
Artists don't make money when they're alive. You're only worth something when you're dead.
So
don't tell my wife.
Well, while Scott is alive, can we talk a little bit about Juice Man?
Please tell us about Juice Man.
Yeah.
Tell the listeners about Chicago's beefiest hero.
When I created Juice Man back in, it was in the early 90s. I was going to NIU, and he came about from all the guys that were lifting weights, and they would forget leg day. And we'd be sitting in our class, and it was a kind of a cool visual, and I go, get a look at, get a load of these Juice Men, and I just started drawing the proportions, and I thought it was funny, and then I grew up in the DeKalb NIU area, which I thought was funny after Dragon came out because of Hortius being in DeKalb. I was like, oh my God, it's like my backyard. So I'm in art school, and I've created Juice Man, and I'm like going, okay, well, how can I have his proportions actually mean something? And there was this guy I knew that was in a wheelchair, handicap, and I was like, well, okay, well, he's got atrophy in his legs, and well, what if he had, took the serum, took something, and because it fixed his paralysis, but because of the severe atrophy of his legs didn't grow in proportion with the rest of his body. Hence,
is that why Juice Man's legs are little? I knew he was in a chair, but
that's why his legs are little, is because of the severe atrophy of being in the wheelchair. Is that it corrected his spinal injury, reversing the paralysis of his legs, but due to the severe atrophy of being in the wheelchair for so long, his legs don't grow in the same proportion as the rest of his body. Okay. So hence the proportions. And so that's kind of where Juice Man came about, and so I brought in that scientific element of it, and I was a big, not a big fan, but when growing up, my mother watched daytime soap operas. Mm-hmm. So for me, it was like, let me see about creating as many characters as I can as possible.
Is Juice Man based on Stefano?
No.
From Days of Our Lives.
I watched Days of Our Lives.
What?
I did.
I just figured you know Stefano. I'm just saying.
No, I'm just saying what to
Stefano Demera. Stefano Demera.
He is the overlord of Days of Our Lives.
Where do you think Damian Sinclair has a little bit of a flair from? Stefano DiMera, Phoenix Corporation. Stefano was the Phoenix. So, hey, dude, don't get me started on the... You got to understand, I'm 48 years old, so my summers, we had 3 channels on the TV. So it was kind of funny because my mother, during the summer, our homework was to catch her up on her daytime soaps. Right. If we were going to be home, she came home if we were going to watch TV, we had to watch what she was watching at lunchtime, and it was either General Hospital or Days of Our Lives.
I hate General Hospital so bad.
Oh, we did too. But it was either that or yard work. What the fuck are you going to do? I could draw and watch General Hospital, but I couldn't draw and do yard work.
Right. No, Young and the Restless.
I'm a Young and the Restless kid.
Nope. It was Days of Our Lives. And
wait. Did Jim just say I'm a Young and the Restless kid?
It's got the best theme song.
Better than
theme
Days.
song. How does the theme song go?
Oh, I know Days of Our Lives theme.
Days is the best.
Da 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 da.
And that voice, like sand through the hourglass.
I'm McDonald Carrington, and this is the Days of Our Lives. Yes. So I grew up watching that shit. Yeah. But to me, I always saw comics as soap operas, but with superheroes.
100% correct.
Absolutely.
So that's how when I was doing Juice Man, it was like I've got to have all these other characters. I need to have the Badger, who's like the party dude. I need to have Cass or She-Blob, who basically gets her power from taking supplements and hoping to be thinner. Fighting that eating disorder type thing. And that's going to go in a totally different direction, which I think Raven will really love. But,
awesome.
It's just, I saw these characters and I wanted to have this large cast and just, you go from one to the other. And you know what? The audience know what's going on, but the characters that are being in play in this have no clue.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's like in a soap opera, everybody knows, oh my God, Stefano DiMera is like the evil guy. Mm-hmm. But you know what? The people that are interacting with him think he's the greatest guy, or they don't know. So, trying to build that. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do with Juice Man, with building and layering all these characters going up. But Juice Man started out as a paraplegic who ended up going into. He was an athlete who got paralyzed probably his sophomore year in high school, and then went to the way of science, kind of like a Peter Parker. And he went that way, and now he's thinking he's trying to regain his life back by getting the use of his legs. He sees his opportunity with this super serum that Julius Adnoid has created, but instead of that, he doesn't regain his life. He starts a whole new life. And he's not the same person he was.
And I think it's interesting, just to stress both. There's two things I want to say here is that what's cool is for Savage Dragon fans, so you have contributed to a great many backups. And so probably many Savage Dragon fans are used to your art. But then additionally, you have, like a little mini Savage Dragon creative team there. And yet, at the same time, I do want to stress that there's definitely, you got your own vibes going on for sure. Juice Man feels to me, like you mentioned, the team, like whereas Dragon's world is mostly centered around whatever the fuck Dragon's doing, you definitely have your cast. It's obvious like this corporation is a big part of things. And so I think it's cool because there's a huge Savage Dragon vibe to it. but you're definitely carving your own niche, and I see it more and more with each issue. You're sort of like, stretching those wings.
And for the listeners, I mean, this is an online strip right now. I don't know if you have plans on ever printing, but it's on the Tapas site, which I guess if you just go to, is it tapas.io? Is that
Do
how
you one better? You can just Google Juice Man comic.
Yeah, just Juice Man or Scott James. But you're on issue 2, I think, right? You're like on page 7, right?
Yeah, I try to do a page a week.
Which is awesome. And we got to get people to subscribe, right? So the more people subscribe, the more reach you have on the site, or
yeah,
how does that work?
Well, the more subscribers I have, the more reach I have, and then I also can there's ad revenue that I can earn as well for doing it. So after 100 subscribers, I can start to bring in ad revenue, which, to me is, hey, that's great. I just want to have people, picking it up and checking it out and reading it, and I've got Jason Howard, Wolfman and Super Dinosaur back in the day. He and I met at the Detroit Comic-Con. That was the same show that I ended up getting my first pinup on Savage Dragon back in '66. He actually did
issue 66.
What did I say?
No, I was like 1966.
No, issues. Issue 66, and he was at a table next to me, and he and I hit it off. And he was a struggling artist. I was a struggling artist. I had Juice Man going on, and I had printed 2 really probably nasty, though I've reused some of the pages, issues of Juice Man, and I was like, yeah, I want you to if I lay out this story and write this story, Dutch, would you pencil it? Introducing the evil Dr. Chang and, saying how, we got these hybrids and to bring in this whole mutate kind of element. And he was like, yeah, that's cool. So I laid it out and I wrote it, laid it out. I sent it to him. He re-laid out some pages and he penciled it and sent me the pencils and I inked it. And I put it out as like a 12-page little ditty, and another guy helped ink it, and he was building websites and whatnot, and he ended up inking some of the pages and ended up with the pages. And so I was like, okay, how can I reincorporate this? Because it tells, how Captain Liberty got his powers, how Dutch he's enhanced, but he's not like a super, but he's enhanced, and bring in that whole element. So the next few pages are going to be going as a flashback from page 8. It's going to be this Jason Howard penciled, me and another guy inking.
Well, that's going to be a weird combo. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it's going to be
awesome.
It's going to be a flashback, and then I already have how the flashback's going to come out. And
just to clarify, I don't want to be like just vague with that. Just because, Howard is like sort of, I see his work as like clean and cartoony, and you heavy render, and so I can't wait to see that combo. Like, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and it was interesting when it first came out because it was my layouts, and then it was hard for me to try to ink his stuff and not add shit.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just because it's very clean and concise and very slick, and where I have no problem going grit and adding texture, and so no, but it turned out really nice. And introducing the evil Dr. Chang, who basically it's almost like the island of Dr. Moreau type character, where he'll do genetic splicings, he'll just fuck with anything and enjoy it. So he's created these hybrids, and basically that's what gave Captain Liberty his power, which gave Freedom her power, secondhand. And it's going to explain a lot once that story part comes out. And I just thought, how can I incorporate these 12 pages that are over 20 years old? And I thought that would be nice, is like, okay, flashback in the hospital about how did we get to where we're at, and the two old grizzly guys telling stories. So I thought that would work out nice. So that's like the next 12 pages before we get into the drunken fest of Juice Man, Freedom, Badger, who I adore because innately he's me when I was in college, and Cass, Night Out on the Town, where we then introduce Icelander, and who Raven knows is basically he's not a god, but he has taken the energy of these Viking kings through talismans, or through these the gauntlets, the helmet, the belt, and these ghosts kind of give him his power, and depending on what he craves the power. So depending on what he wears determines how much power he has. And when he's wearing all of these elements, he can channel, actually, maybe not channel, but these ghosts are like a force to be reckoned with.
Now, you even posted the cover to that, too. So, we can actually see him, with these three Viking kings, swirling around him and stuff. So, it's a pretty kick-ass visual.
Yeah, and they can actually physically do damage. Nice. So, it's depending on the situation, the Icelander can reap the benefit of these Viking kings and their lineage and their might. And he started out as a Norwegian archaeologist, stumbling upon the relics, and in looking at this history of these Viking kings and the curse, and each time he acquired one of these, he was driven more towards the next, the next item. So that quest for power, and he's been driven that way and driven mad almost to that extent.
Nice. I'm excited to see more from Juice Man. I hope people check it out. It doesn't cost you a damn thing. Go Google up Juice Man Comics, Scott James Comics.
If you like Dragon, you'll love it.
Yeah.
Farron Delgado, great coloring, great layouts, good stuff.
Yeah, before we dip into the meat and potatoes, we'll be quick with it. But Scott, shoot for the moon, baby. What, you talking book? You want to do T-shirt? I seen the Juice Man statue mock-up.
Yeah, I've been blessed to have back in the day when I was doing Juice Man, the first 2-3 issues that I did, I met Dion Knuckles, who worked at Hasbro Toys, and he hired me to do work on basically a bunch of toy lines and movie concepts, and I worked on Small Soldiers.
Uh-huh.
Well, then
you
was...
You worked on Small Soldiers?
Yeah, doing concept design.
Oh.
That's cool, dude. I did not know that.
Yeah, that's pretty
Did
rad.
you create Archer?
Leader no.
of the Gorgonites?
I worked only on the Army guys.
Oh.
I lost my virginity in Small Soldiers.
What?
No, I'm kidding.
You had me at hello. No, I did concept design. So I was hired to do like sketches of Army guys. And what Dia Knuckles would do is back in the day of fax, I'd have to fax in the drawings. And they would circle parts that they liked in my drawings and other guys' drawings. And, oh, yeah, I like this. I like the eyebrows. I like the pouches here. I like the boots, this, that, and the other thing. Okay. Then they would have their staff artists basically put it all together. I like this part. I like that part. I like this part. Let's put it all together, make a Frankenstein character. And that's what they would do. So I worked on Small Soldiers. I got paid really nice. And I got hired for Small Soldiers too. And then Phil Hartman was killed by his wife.
Oh, shit,
he was like he was supposed to be the main star of the second sequel. So I do all these designs for the sequel, and we're in the middle of production of the sequel, and I'm doing all these sketches and sending them in. They're loving them, this, that, and the other thing, and they're expanding the Army guys. You know, they had, Chip Hazard, and then they created Chip 1B, which was like a takeoff of Chip Hazard. He was like the basically the Stu Nod kind of cousin. Whatever he would do would be like a clusterfuck. He would be the one innately to pop the pin off of the grenade and blow himself up. He was that guy. And so I'm doing all these designs, and they were bringing back characters that died in the,
because they're toys. So I mean,
they're toys, yeah. And then Phil Hartman. I get the call. I remember getting the call. We're paying you for what you did, but we're done.
Dude, that's wild. So that project was that attached to him.
He was the star of the movie.
Wow.
It was focused around his character because his character had resonated so much in the first movie that the sequel they were going to focus on his character and around his character and his family. And after Bryn killed him, it was like, okay, we got nothing. We're packing up shop. We're done.
Wow, nuts, dude.
Yeah. So
that's the dude that's working on the Juice Man statue. Like your cohort from that?
He basically is the one who hired me for all of that, and he loved Juice Man, and that's what got me the gig working for Hasbro. He loved my designs for the characters of Juice Man, and I did like umpteen things for Hasbro.
Cool.
Back at that time, but it was all because of Juice Man. So when I was bringing back Juice Man, he was like, "Oh, I'd love to do a sculpt of it." Cool. And he did that sculpt, and I was like blown away. So, but book, I'm looking at doing the first book and maybe doing pre-orders for December.
Nice.
Black and white, basically with an artist sketch in the back. Cool. So, yeah, I'm in the process of formatting that book to get that together. Sexy. So, yeah, Christmas time we're looking to have the first Juice Man book out in print.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, count me in. I'm down for it.
Yeah, definitely.
The juice is loose. Can't wait.
Not that Juice Man.
All right, guys. Well, you know what? That's fucking awesome as shit, but you know what people are here for. Meat and potatoes.
Meat and potatoes.
Meat and potatoes. How about we dive into Savage Dragon #1?
You got cover here with Dragon with about 1,000 segments to his fin.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but can we honest? I think you can count this among one of the most iconic images of Dragon, right?
I'm going to be honest with you. I disagree.
I would disagree as well.
I think this one is just lost in the shade. If it wasn't issue #1, I would say that it's any other cover. I don't know.
It's so weird to have issue #1 with Dragon with a mustache.
Can I say this is like the Sin City?
It is the whole
Dragon.
issue.
The whole issue is Sin City Dragon.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the first 3 weren't really like that.
No. Well, a lot has
you
happened in the last 6 months.
So wait a minute. Someone do a quick Google search.
Sin City came out after this, or
Okay,
before this, and
But what's the time frame? Does anyone Google?
I'd be
can anyone
curious.
Google it up real quick, because I'm just like, there's obviously a Miller influence here, obviously, and that's not a bad thing. Like mostly, we're gonna say the heavy silhouettes with all the bandages all over his face. I mean, come on, dudes. But like, heavy silhouettes in this, I think more than in the 3 issues. So it's kind of funny because like trying to put yourself in like the Eric's shoes. Like I want to know what the time frame is of Sin City hitting, and then he's like, "Damn, that's good." And then like when this issue number 1 hits, it's like, "Yeah, I'm doing some of that."
I mean, even in the bar scene, when he's sitting there, I mean, that's total Sin City.
Big time Marv, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I love it. I'm not shitting on it. Like Frank Miller is,
and it's even more It's even more noticeable. I've got the color version, and then I've also got the archives. It's even more noticeable in the archives.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
You guys must be more in tune with this because you guys say your artists are comic readers. I just see Eric. I when I think Sin City, I think it way more starker than this.
Well, yeah, but those bandages, dude. Like the little like bandages
dark around the eyes, and
that is straight up Marv, like for sure.
So Sin City originally appeared in Dark Horse Presents, April '91, continued in Dark Horse Presents 51 to 62, May '91 to June '92.
Okay,
so it was out a few years before.
Okay, so that's cool. Not saying anything other than, and obviously when Sin City hit, it was like fucking huge. So, I mean,
there were so many people copying off of Sin City at that time. I mean, not saying Eric did that, but there was that the influence was major across the board.
We talked in the past about Jim Lee's. Remember the Darker Image? His guy. What was his guy's name?
Oh yeah, Death
Blow.
Death
Blow.
Yeah. That was a direct Sin City
big time.
Hobby.
Big time, dude.
Hey, you guys have the trade for the first the ongoing?
I do not.
Forced to be reckoned with.
I
trade?
do in the other room. Was it different?
Because it actually, there's 3. There's 4 pages that open up that bridge between Wildstar and Savage Dragon 1.
Oh, cool.
And it
Yes,
gives you. Go ahead.
Yes.
What were you gonna say?
I've got that. That's because that's in the. Is that with the airplane as well? Where? Yeah. I've got that it's in the archives.
Well, spill it first that don't have it.
Sure, it's got kind of almost like Dragon's point of view on his fight with Wildstar.
Oh, cool.
He redraws a few of the panels from the Wildstar comic. But he also has his own panels, so it's like you can tell, like even the dialogue's the same on the first couple of pages. But then he adds a few panels that fills in things of where Dragon gets knocked out and then wakes up and kind of walks away, and it shows him getting on the flight back to Chicago.
Is Dragon like, man, that was all pretty cool what happened back there, ... until that time traveling chick showed up. What?
He's actually on the plane. It's pretty funny. Like, it's got all these like different people up in his grill and shit like that because he's famous. And then he gets off the plane and Frank Darlin picks him up and is like, "Welcome, Dragon. I've got a live one for you." And it kind of just sets the scene for you. And as we go along in this issue, I know there's, we'll get into it, but they talk about how Frank Darlin keeps kind of sending Dragon away from Chicago, which ties into a lot of the shit that's happening.
Right.
And so that whole Wildstar issue makes sense that he's kind of out there because Frank Darlin's pushing him away for a reason that we find out as we read.
It's funny, too. Like, again, I didn't have this, experience because I was reading Dragon, all piecemeal all over. But, and I like I said, it's weird because I had Wildstar there, but it's just, perfect. When you're in the Wildstar, they're like, "Oh, he's out with the shrew, dealing with the shrew," and then you flip this issue open, and there's shrew, bloody all over. So I love it. I love it. Sweet. So those 4 pages come before the shrew splash page.
Yeah.
In the trade, it's 4 extra pages.
Do you like the way that reads better or worse? Because I think that's a hell of an opening first page.
I think it's good, and I think it probably suits the readers who might have had a little gap between Wildstar or maybe didn't pick up Wildstar.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't pick up Wildstar, and I found that it brought clarity and actually, it plays into what you were saying about how Frank is sending him out because of his connection with the Vicious Circle. And it adds to that tension,
Right.
Especially as you go on through the story. And Dragon's questioning, why do you keep doing this to me, Frank? What the fuck's going on? This has got to stop. And then you go into the page. I love that splash with Frank where he just looks battered and beaten down, and it's that montage of panels as you're going through the history.
Yeah.
I just think that page.
That's a good ass page.
Yeah, I just think that it just really basically encompasses, how everything went. You even got Dragon working in Frank's cousin's, warehouse
Yeah,
and
the dock.
the dock, yeah, and the explosion, and basically it's a total recap page, but the weight on Frank's face is you can feel it just by looking at that illustration that Eric did. Is just you can tell that he's like, oh man, I'm he's tired. You could tell, and he's drained. And
Well, he's got this super cop on the force now for once, and he's like pigeonholed. He can't do any. He's got all this weight on him that he caused innocent death to get this cop on the force. And now he's going to get outed on it.
And he can't use
his
him.
life's ruined. Yeah.
One thing I find interesting is that Frank is narrating to himself, and he says it's been 2 years since he found Dragon.
Yeah.
Which I think is interesting just because Dragon doesn't usually do that kind of stuff because it's got the whole real-time aspect.
Right.
Because this issue isn't 2 years from the miniseries.
Yeah, but I think he's still fine. I think Eric, I'm not sure he started this comic thinking that. I think maybe that kind of just went.
Yeah.
Real time just sort of came up later.
Yeah.
I'm not sure much later, but I still feel like, he's still playing around with concepts.
I don't know. It doesn't feel like 2 years. I don't know. It feels like Dragon's still kind of fresh to this. I don't know. It just jumped out at me just because to me, Dragon still feels like he's fresh on the Force. Still trying to find his direction and.
Yeah, I get you. I see what you're saying.
Because that would mean that Frank's been being blackmailed for 2 years.
Well, they keep saying. They keep sending.
He very
Dragon
well could
away.
be.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be like if he was getting blackmailed for 2 years. I mean, what's funny is like a lot of these, like somebody's crooked or whatever, they could be getting blackmailed for their whole life. What I mean?
Right. But I feel like if it was that long a period, I mean, it feels like this is something recent, and Dragon is getting wise to it. It doesn't feel like it's been going on for 2 years. I don't know. It just, like I said, it jumped out at me because Eric doesn't usually date himself like that.
Yeah. Dude, how about the Shrew, man? Like,
Shrew's cool.
You know what character he reminds me of so much, though? Thunderhead. As when he's a villain, he seemed like the baddest ass, like scariest mother effer, and then he turns into like a good guy and he's like harmless.
Because
you see that scene is like the thing. I don't. He's like dead cops and people all over, blood's pouring out. He's got like razor teeth and claws. He's going toe to toe with Dragon.
And then later, Mace is just beating the shit out of him like a little bitch. he's all like, no, not a swinging mace. Ay, my face.
Well,
yeah, it's really funny. That's a funny contrast.
Well, he's not a monster.
You're right. Yeah, he's not. I mean, I don't know. I guess it is like, you got to think about it. It's a whole lot. If your thing is like slicing attacks and vicious razor sharp teeth, and you're trying to be a good guy, it's probably a whole lot easier to use that and be like lethal and effective when you're evil and don't give a shit about life.
No, I mean, he literally isn't very good at the slicing and dicing.
Yeah.
Because he's not in control of himself here. At least that's what we'll learn later.
I'm biting my tongue because I'm like, what can I say?
I think you can say it.
This is 25 years old. I think
retro,
the statute
so-
of limitations.
Citation on the wicked worm. I mean, they say that it's he's acquitted because he is driven because of the wicked worm and how that mind control, which sets up perfect later on for what happens with Dragon. But because Dragon ends up becoming that brutal, that vicious, which we end up finding out that comes by nature later on, but because of Kerr, but that that could easily explain why the shrew is way more vicious and I'm sorry, way cooler. When he's this way than when he's working at the Rock House Diner.
Yeah. That's an interesting point. So he's like definitely like pulling it in. It could be like a killing machine if he was let loose, basically, and he is.
Yeah,
and that's what this.
I got a bag on one thing though.
Bag away.
Isn't like Savage Dragon supposed to have like some crazy like aiming skills when he shoots? Like he can.
According to the
so either Shrew's got bulletproof skin or Dragon shoots like a stormtrooper.
Well,
he's got two. Oh,
are you
in
talking?
His hand.
Are you talking about when the shrew is leaping and we hear blah 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 blah?
He's got two Uzis in his hand and about 57 gun shell, bullet shells.
Well, don't forget the big problem with the cops in this period of time is that they're dealing with all these bulletproof bad guys and they just can't hack it because guns don't do shit to these guys.
Yeah, so Shrew might actually be pretty damn
bulletproof. Well,
bulletproof.
that's what I'm wondering.
Because later on, he's going to take a couple of chainsaws to the chest, and he's basically going to bust him up in the process.
Okay, we'll go with bulletproof then.
Yeah, I think he's got a degree of toughness. He must have healing factor too, because he gets really battered at the end.
Can I just say that, like, to be so old, this action sequence holds the fuck up?
It does. It does. I mean, not all of the action sequences that Larson does holds up. I mean, let's be honest. When you draw Thor versus Hulk, and that's one of your first, and it holds up back then. I'm sorry. Larson's action sequences have always, standed the test of time.
And I love those fucking big fat Uzis. Love them.
I do too.
As useless as they are.
Yeah, they never do.
I love his use of splatter. I mean, where it's got that Miller-esque feel of Sin City, where he separates it is with the grit and with the splatter and with the grunge, where Miller, it's more stark black and white. Eric brings texture into that artistically, which just, I think, separates it from that, Sin City. More so, it's got that feel, but yet it's separate.
Also, feels like the coloring. Remember, digital coloring still really an emergent art form. Feels like the colorists are really getting super comfy.
Oh shit! I should look at the color one then, shouldn't I?
Yeah,
let me go back to the color one.
Yeah, it's real good. Yeah, they're doing, the colorists are doing real good things. Like on the splash page where the shrew is like standing there all bloody and dragons. There's like red in the shadow and stuff.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Wait, you're talking about the one where his hands are all cut up?
Just the very beginning. Yeah,
oh, the beginning, yeah.
Yeah. But good stuff coloring wise. I don't know how we're going to jump around. I just can't let this go by without saying fire breathing dragon page is one of the funniest.
Yeah.
That's fucking
It's a good gag.
hilarious.
Yeah.
And also Johnny Nitro's bandage pants.
His little stripy pants.
Yeah, dude, that's TNT.
Stripy pants. And one
He's
thing
like
I
a
noticed,
glam rocker.
the page where Dragon rams when the page after where the guy crashes through Moe's,
Yeah.
where he rams the guy's face in the wall.
Yeah.
I get a total Frank Miller feel off of that waitress or that. Oh no, my bar, that just
Her voice just sounds raspy. When you see
yeah.
it.
Oh my God, darling.
This is the worst day of my
This
life.
is the way. My bar, my beautiful bar, it's destroyed. What am I going to do? Yeah, she might be Mo.
Check out, and again, I love the dude like on the guy smashing through Moe's at the bottom of the page. Check out the dude's like his sort of like twin mohawks.
Yeah, sweet.
I love it, dude. I love those like old school like just flunky designs.
Hairstyle. This guy's a punk. Look at his hair.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got to be up to no good.
It's funny because you go back and you watch like old movies and old entertainment and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, if you were a degenerate in society, you were like the most outrageous visual usually.
He had a mohawk and neon
3D
clothes.
glasses.
That's like the balding flock of seagulls, member right there. You get.
Yeah. It's good. Are we all here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, kind of a weird sound drop off there. Sorry.
We get that nice little kind of, so we don't know this yet, but that little page, the one page with that will eventually show us Horridus, but her dead parents.
Yep, we get a couple of teases about that. Horridus,
which that will take a little
Horridus.
bit before we get.
Dreamboat Alex.
What I love is in your dreams. Yeah. Only if how many issues later?
A little bit
Was
of
it
sexual tension there?
Yeah. How many issues before it was in her dreams?
Yeah, it's. I'm just saying, it's good dynamic. And this page, the Crazy Day page, like the most Sin City page.
Oh, that is
beautiful.
Total Sin City page. I love it though.
Beautiful, love it.
Yeah.
And then the icon, and we joked about this before the show, but it's too good to leave off. The twin chainsaw shrew fight is one of those things like Savage Dragon being a cop that like people just seem to know and remember. This is an iconic ass fight scene.
It's like a what the F?
Yeah, twin chainsaws. I love it. Like he's in Chicago. Where'd he get those
Isn't that
chainsaws?
like, the only thing could be better is dueling banjos.
It's great, though. It's
Yes.
fantastic. I love it. Mind if I cut in?
Shrew is fucking creepy looking.
Yeah, he's a big mouse.
So you could say the issue 1 was the taming of the shrew.
Oh my god!
I gotta. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say the very end of the fight where Dragon's looking at his bloody hands.
Bloody. Yeah, I was just looking at that page.
That's a great panel, but that's a great image. But those panels at the top are a bit
not good.
tangent-y.
They're, you know what though?
looks
They're
very
still
weird.
awesome, but I get the tangent that you're talking about, but they're still sweet.
They should almost be opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny that I had never heard the fucking phrase visual tangent until like Eric talked about it. And once he like talks about it, like you look for it everywhere. I just wonder when they got on his mind.
Can't unsee.
Is it like where he couldn't? Yeah, if they were opposite, that would work way better. Like I just wonder though when he when it started bugging him all the time. How's that page looking black and white? Because the color is really awesome. They do a really cool thing where like the blood is like, even makes the shadows red. Like, does that read clear in black and white or?
Let me take a look.
Okay.
It's way clearer in black and white.
Oh, okay.
It is way clearer in black and white. That
Damn.
red actually.
To do these FINcasts, I'm going to have the single issue out. I'm going to have the trade out, and I'm going to have to get my black and white. What do you call those? What are they called?
Archives.
Archives. I'm going to have to be looking at 3 different things at once.
I have the action figure in my left hand this
not
whole
prepared. Would you say have the action figure?
Yeah, I just keep the action figure in my left hand the whole time. You gotta optimize.
We're all looking at the books. Ravens, I look at the action figure.
Dragon looks so cool, guys. Now the one where his shadow is like Shrew's all beat the fuck up, and like Dragon's shadow is all giant over him.
Oh yeah, that looks badass.
Good shit, dude.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, this pretty much is what we do on these retro reviews, baby. We just gush over the art. Now I'll tell you what I do not love. I've never loved. I never loved the round rim glasses.
No.
I never loved.
What about the trench coat? Eric was into the trench coat for a while.
For some reason, the trench coat didn't bug me like the glasses.
I'm into the trench coat.
The John Lennon.
I just
glasses.
can't. Well, Dwayne Wayne.
Yeah, the little flip up ones.
Yeah,
that's what. It is.
that's all I think of is when I see it. Is I keep expecting him to flip them up.
The trench coat is tied at the waist. Is what's weird. That's what's weird, and then flares out from the waist. It's it's unnatural. It's strange, but I just those glasses, especially in combination with the like fucking handlebar mustache. I mean the it's not handlebar. What's it called? Mutton chops. Is it handlebar?
It's a handlebar.
Handlebar, yeah. The handlebar and the glasses combo, not awesome. He deserves to get slapped by Barbaric. I'm just saying.
No, that's called pimp slapped.
Yeah.
Backhand.
Yeah.
We get our big introduction this issue with Barbaric and Ricochet.
Mm-hmm. In a sweet double-page spread. Oh, they fucked up the fin. The edge of his fin is like brown.
Yeah, it is. You don't notice it in the black and white, though.
Just as I was bragging on their coloring. Also,
what are you talking about? What's brown?
The edge of
the
Dragon's
tip,
fin.
Yeah, just the tip.
Yeah, the very tip of Dragon's fin is brown, and also the red shadows on Barbaric's leg.
Yeah, that's
that looks insane, dude.
And it does, and it's cropped really weird too.
Now I mentioned this before, but it's kind of funny how coloring went. Of course, why it looks weird is because they didn't really do process blacks at that point yet.
No.
So what you're seeing is process black. If you're unfamiliar, is like a combo of cyan, yellow, magenta, and black. The 4-color printing process. So this would never happen nowadays because they know to not do it. But what you're seeing is literally where the colorist like made the selections underneath the black. And since it's not processed black, it's just K. It's just black. You're seeing that red come right on up through the black. And that's why it looks so fucking weird. Yeah, it's funny how this comic actually predates like some really common sense coloring printing knowledge now.
The funny thing is, it's on the singles, it's glossy. Mm-hmm. On the trade, it's that matte like paper, and it's not as bad. The glossy really makes it pop. Like really, not I shouldn't say pop, but really makes it stand out.
Yeah, it's in particular, it really shows up on Barbaric. Because he's got the red coloring and it like really pushes through the black.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, how about Barbaric's first appearance though? It's pretty awesome how he's like you just see his shadow and you see his like almost like Ricochet looks like a bug lady, and then that splash, that double page splash, a giant fucking hand, boom, like you were just saying, the pimp slap.
The next 2 pages, I really love how Ricochet bonks off of the side of Dragon's head.
Yeah, dude, that is great.
I love that. I mean, that just great gesture, great motion.
Great use of the panel.
Yeah.
Like I always say, people are always like, oh, layout's not... It's like, no, dude, layout's super important if you work it. Like, that's a great working of, like, long, like, tall panels. So good, dude.
Barbaric's costume is just so funny.
Yeah, it shouldn't
90s,
be cool.
Like shoulder pads with the pouches.
You gotta wonder where these homeless kids got the costumes from.
I like Ricochet has got a weird thing going on, right?
Well, she's like got a kind of a Bucky thing going on.
Yeah, it's like old timey pilot, like I don't know, plane pilot.
Yeah, like a Rocketeer kind of a thing.
Yeah. With her goggles, she's such a weird character. I feel like she didn't get developed much in the future.
Really?
She's all right, but I don't know.
I like her.
She never clicked with me.
Like
she could have done
characters.
more. I love her powers, but she could have been used more.
She's like Speedball.
Yeah, Speedball. Any kind of bouncy character, like their thing is they bounce around. That's cool in my book. But no, I agree, Craig. I think like she didn't ever really do shit compared to like say Rock.
I think a lot of those characters could have done more in Freak Force or been developed more in Freak Force, and I just don't think they were, developed to the extent that they could have been. Some of them were, but I think the majority of them weren't. The ones that were, like Rapture,
Rapture.
they were brought in and used primarily in Dragon.
Right.
If they weren't mainstays in Dragon and were more off in the background, even Rock was developed more than Ricochet, and Ricochet came before Rock.
Yeah,
and
as we see right here.
But I feel like, Barbaric gets developed a lot, and I feel like it's always just, Ricochet's his girlfriend.
Well, and what I felt was developed with Barbaric was primarily his later on when he was part of the SOS.
Right.
You really got a sense of his character then, in that he wanted to make money.
Background where they came from.
Yeah, exactly. And then after, when they had their little kids TV show,
the kids
that became more.
Fat.
Yeah, but that was more character development for those characters than when they were actually members of Freak Force.
Yeah.
But Barbaric was always an awesome character.
Oh, I agree.
Like in the 30s on the SOS, when he's just like a pain in Dragon's ass.
Oh,
Those
I
are
love
some
when
of
he's
my
saying,
favorite
"Have you
issues."
done the panels where he's just sitting there talking to Dragon, and then he does the circle with his finger, like, hey, did you guys?" And then he's like, "Oh shit, I upset Dragon." He goes to take off, and then you see him.
He went ahead and made the action figures.
Yeah, yeah. But that's what I'm talking about. That's when you really get a feel of the character.
Yeah.
Where the rest, it's like, okay, he's a big lug.
Right.
So I got to ask, what do you guys think are in Barbaric's pouches?
Nothing.
Beef jerky.
I was going to say corn nuts.
They are for show. I don't think they even opened.
I don't think he can even open them with those hands.
Follow-up question. I bet it'd be pretty crazy to see those two doing it, don't you think?
Just bouncing.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I mean. Like, just like boing, 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 doing, like all around the room, just to land on it.
Isn't that a Fish song, Bounce Around the Room?
And one last thing, I'm so sorry to just be so wacky, but like, Caca-Thoom.
What? Wait, what?
On the sound effect. The sound effect where like Dragon's punching Barbaric, it's like pow, choom, Barbaric.
Caca-Thoom.
Caca-Thoom. I'm sorry.
It's like saying bukkake as a sound effect.
Dude, I just realized on one page is like Dragon punches Barbaric straight up, and then the next page you see the action of him falling down before he punches him again sideways. So he punches him straight up in the air and then punches him through a door as he's falling back down.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah,
I didn't catch that. Yeah, dude, that's awesome. Air juggle, James Purcell.
Yes. So I noticed there's no poster in this issue, right? There's no poster.
Not
in
in mine. No.
Okay. So something I found interesting. This issue only has 31 pages of story, which means it ends on a right page, which is really freaking weird.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
Instead of being 32 pages long, which would be an even number, it's 31.
Mm-hmm.
Just weird. Weird that would happen.
And then he adds a page again in A Force to Be Reckoned With, and I think it's kind of to get that page
Probably to fix that.
back.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And the page he adds in A Force to Be Reckoned With, it's Dragon's back at the precinct, and he's shaving his mustache off.
Well, because it's gone next issue.
Yeah, and he's talking with William
Johnson.
Yeah. That's in the.
And it's a weird exchange because
archive.
William Johnson's trying to hook him up with women, and he's like, "Oh, they just like me because they see me on TV or whatever."
Yeah.
And
So
I can be with the green
superficial.
skin. Yeah, I can be with the green skin guy.
So Eric added 5 extra pages, which means that makes it out to be 36 pages. in the collection, which I guess
Still
makes
not
it
a multiple of 4.
well. It doesn't necessarily have to be at that
Not
point.
in a trade, but
Not in a trade.
you'd think.
Right.
But it doesn't make it an
House-
even number.
House ads. How
Yes,
about that
house
Project
ads.
Metaforce?
I was going to bring that up. What the heck is Project Metaforce, and why is it here? Because I did the search. There is nothing on on Comic Vine or listing about this. I don't think it ever actually happened.
And I got to say,
I don't think so.
look at that logo. ICP. Insane Clown Posse.
Oh, yeah.
jeez.
I don't.
Oh, wait, no, that's ITP.
Yeah, it's Imagine
for-
This Productions.
But that most certainly does look like ICP, right?
Yep, it's not very good.
Where are
No.
you guys at?
Okay,
There's a house ad. There's 2 house ads after the
Oh,
letters
and the-
page.
there's 4 house pads total.
Yeah. Oh,
Vanguard.
Project. Okay.
Yeah, we didn't mean to skip Vanguard. Like, that's Vanguard is coming.
Project Metaforce.
Project Metaforce.
Imagine This Productions, The Patriots TM, Talks TOXX TM, Backdraft TM, Camo,
Yeah, dude.
See, I tried to-
Killer
I-
Bee, Bat, Baboon, and Tokay.
Oh,
Tokay.
Tokay. That's, you know what? And
This is the
we know that probably was meant to be an Asian style name, Tokay, but they just spelled it like okay with the T at the front.
Okay with Tokay.
Yeah,
I bet
this is
I
okay.
bet
with
Tokay's
Tokay.
the
guys.
snake-looking guy,
Really?
lizard-looking guy.
He's not baboon? No, I'm kidding. Or bat?
Let's just say this art is not Tokay.
No, it's not. It's far from Tokay.
It's Talks.
And back cover's got the Eric Larson Freak Force preview,
Yeah, it's
dude.
the Eric version of the cover.
which
Beautiful.
is a great image.
Hortus looked, yes, but Hortus looks stoned.
Hi.
Yeah, high as a kite.
And this is interesting because so far we've only met Barbaric, Ricochet, Super Patriot, and I guess some Mighty Man briefly.
Right.
Rapture, Hortus, and Dart are going to be completely unknown to anyone who read this issue.
Yeah. And yet there they are. Ricochet trademark. Barbaric trademark. Super Patriot trademark. Dart trademark. Mighty Man trademark. Right. No, I'm kidding. I just wanted to do that after you did talks and all that. No, and I love, you get like the Super Patriot tube guns, and I mean, this is sweet, dude. I like this pinup.
Yeah.
I like it. And it's funny, I didn't
Think about like when this issue came out, and you're like a huge Larson fan or Dragon fan. You've seen the mini, and you're like, "Oh shit,
Yeah.
he's coming out with a new team book."
Yeah. They
All
look
right.
fucking
Good
sweet
stuff.
here. Hortus, a visual that holds up.
You think so?
Yup. It endures. People like Hortus, dude. If you did a tweet of fan art of Hortus, or if somebody cosplayed Hortus, I guarantee it would hit like 6K likes.
Interesting. I've
Yep.
always found her a bit plain myself.
Oh, yeah?
What?
She's kind of
All those spikes?
yeah. She's
All those
just a
spikes,
spiky
she's
lizard.
orange,
The only thing interesting about her is that she's a girl. Well, you don't
got a
usually
cool
see that.
dinosaur head.
I hear she's kind of horny.
She's
though.
kind of a Ninja Turtle looking thing.
Boom, boom.
She's a horny simpleton.
Yeah.
The best kind.
Who likes cartoons? What else does a guy need?
I'm telling you, dude. Like, yeah, is she into sewer mutants or whatever, robots? It doesn't matter. So, yeah, but dudes, I mean, what an issue number 2. Who do we have on this cover here?
These look like some Ninja Turtles.
Sewer mutants appeared.
I don't remember my reaction when I saw. I do remember being like, "Holy f!" Like Larson is drawing the Ninja Turtles, and they look cool as shit on the cover. I remember that. I don't remember like ever hearing that they were gonna be there. Like I feel like, this is pre-internet. I feel like they were just like I picked it up at the comic store and was like blown away. Like I don't remember like. Unless I saw a house ad or anything like that, I don't remember.
I don't think there
that.
was. I think it was just literally you're like, holy shit, turtles are.
Well, then you guys
Iron
can't
Dragon.
read, because at the end of the letter column he says, Savage Dragon goes to New York and meets Eastman Laird's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
On issue 1, it says
Yeah.
that.
Way to point out that I never learned how to read. Thank you.
Dumb bastards can't read. So take that. No, it's still your first impression. Like, no, dude, that's yeah.
They're all wearing the red bandanas, which means they're going to be cool.
Yep, not lame.
They're going to murder people.
Yes.
What I can't stand is the red going over the turtles on the cover.
Yeah, what is up with that, right?
Wait, what?
So the color red goes over the red of like Leonardo's bandana.
Oh yeah, that looks like just a coloring mistake.
Yeah, but like they shouldn't have. They should have just let his bandana be behind the logo.
Yeah, it looks like my kid drew on it with a red Sharpie.
I never even noticed that before. It like literally didn't register till you made me look at it. So thanks for that.
I will also say
No problem.
I do like that the colorist chose to give the image eye a beveled look.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Which again is not
You
something.
like that?
No, I'm mocking.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I'm totally mocking. But the dragon logo looks sweet. This is a sweet cover.
Yeah, I think it's a great job of Eric to do the shadow background of the building. It really makes all the characters kind of popping out of the shadows like ninjas, you know? Like it could have been really busy.
And
like I felt like he missed a lot on the miniseries covers with how busy they were. That like these kind of covers make up for it.
And
I gotta say, I love the turtles. I've always loved how he drew the turtles. I love how the turtles look on this cover more so than I do Dragon.
You don't like Dragon on this cover?
I don't like. I am the Terminator.
Yeah.
The chopper.
Dude, he's got the awesome
chopper.
specs. They're so much better than Round, though. I defy you.
And I'm looking at the fin, and I'm just like, knowing how Eric draws Dragon now, I could.
It's hard to look at now.
It's hard to look at now, where the turtles are so iconic and they're perfect the way he's drawn them. I love the turtles. The turtles by far overshadow how he drew Dragon, and Dragon is, I feel, there's so much energy and power with these turtles that he's drawn, where Dragon's just standing there like Duke Nukem.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he looks badass. That's what he's doing.
I don't think he looks that badass, Raven.
No, he doesn't.
He looks kind of bored.
You amateurs. Amateur art critics. Dragon looks
Eric's
awesome.
Always done great turtle covers from like all the TMNT series and stuff. Just
these turtles
they always
are
look badass.
They're baller, man, and it emphasizes. Unfortunately, it just emphasizes how uninspired Dragon looks on that cover.
You haters.
Yeah, man.
I love it. I love you haters, though. It's hilarious.
No, I'm not, and I'm not trying to hate. I'm just, to me, looking at it, Dragon just it's not to the same level as the turtles.
He's kind of flat.
My mind is blown because I always thought, yet again, this was another like just really stellar cover.
Well, it is a good cover.
Yeah.
It's just Dragon's not the part that makes it great.
He's eating up as much literal real estate as the turtles. I'm just saying.
And that's the problem.
The lead's front and center, looking like a fucking gangsta.
He looks like he's about to get jumped because he's a chump.
I don't think Teenage Tour Mutants are gonna beat up a dude that just like he just beat the
in a
blood out of
one-on-one
Shrew.
fight. They would totally take him in the end as a team.
Horse shit! I don't believe it. I just don't believe it.
I'm staying out of this one.
All right. You know, I got to say, I'm remembering right here, we saw this scene reimagined at some point, Dart entering the precinct.
Yeah, it was a backup.
Bill Sienkiewicz did it.
Yep.
So Sienkiewicz reimagined it.
Yes, and it was fucking baller.
Yeah.
Sienkiewicz just... Larson did it, and then what happened was Sienkiewicz inked. It was those pages... It was that issue that Larson reimagined, like, endings. Not reimagined, but because of the
alternate timeline
the
events?
alternate time... Yes.
Was it in the back of the Image United?
No, it was like in issue... What? 100.
Issue 100.
Where
issue 100 had all the backups with the alternate timeline events.
Yes, and Sienkiewicz redid this one.
I feel like
no, really. Well, then he did another one. I feel.
No,
too,
are you thinking of the
Sienkiewicz inked it, and it
Okay.
had to do with the jailbreak.
He did, because that's a big turning point.
Yes,
because there's no money to save him.
Exactly, and this was maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong, but I know that Sienkiewicz inked it.
I also think I think, Craig, you might be thinking of the Freak Force Zero backup that redrew a lot of scenes. I don't know if that specific scene is in there, but it could have been. But that would have been Val Staples, I think.
I just think it's funny because this scene has been reimagined. It kind of makes this a cooler scene, you know.
Well, I gotta say, as a first page, it's really good.
Yeah,
You meet this brand new character, and she's all front and center.
Yeah,
so you know she's
yeah.
important.
that's your big character splash page, like.
Because, yeah, she seems like a big deal right away.
Oh my! Would you look at that? My! Oh lordy! Pigs. It's good. They're the guys in the force, you know.
All right, guys, listen. I looked it up.
All right.
Hit us.
Let me see. I have
Diabetes.
Bill Sienkiewicz is Image United number 3, Dart Triumphant backup.
Wait, there's a
Whoa.
backup?
No, you're right. You're right, and that's he redid this page was redone for the Dart where she takes out the soul the sword. She recaptures the sword from the precinct.
Oh, you're talking about the
But it's
backup
not.
where Allison's got in handcuffs.
Yeah, it's not this page though. It's not like he re-inked this page.
Page,
that we're
it's
talking about.
but it's like
It's
an
very
homage.
similar.
It's an homage to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking of, and I don't know. Is there another page that he did in 100 or something like that?
Well, I know that he inked over Larson in 100, and it
Right.
had to do with the jailbreak with
Gotcha.
with No Mighty Man, and that's where Mako
Saves
pulls
her.
her out. Yep, and saves her.
Gotcha.
Well, it's a dope intro, and basically we get treated to, Alex and Dart having a bit of back and forth, and you get some sweet, like that pose of Alex running with her gun, and Dart's hair is like flying off the panel. That's sweet.
Yeah.
So good stuff. But then here's your really juicy nugget. How about this double page spread of Dragon and the Toidles? Kind of like a remake of the cover in a way.
Yeah, I'm. It's not one of the better ones, but
But again, I think the turtles look cooler. Unfortunately, I think the turtles look cooler than Dragon.
and he's in
Turtles
New
are
York
pretty
now,
cool.
right?
I like this perspective, though. Like with the one gargoyle in the foreground and then the other gargoyle off to the side.
Yeah.
Well,
no, it's
and
cool.
where Dragon also is like a mock gargoyle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like in between.
There's your
Him being
hated
in
trench
between.
coat, though, guys, right? Which one of you guys was the trench coat hater?
I was not so much a hater. I just said, remember he went through that trench coat phase with the shredded arms.
Sleeveless trench coat.
Yes, and it actually made a toy.
Did they?
Yeah. No, did it have a trench coat? The toy?
Yes.
Sleeveless trench coat. Dragon had a toy.
Was it like the battle damage dragon?
Yeah.
See, now that's a bridge
couldn't
too
remember.
far.
Those plastic coats
Well, it's
never
all
work
based on
anyway.
this turtles.
Wait a minute. One at a time. What now?
I said those plastic coats never look good anyway.
Yeah, no. Now the other?
Now the other? No, I was saying that whole toy line is based around, the Dragon Ninja Turtle interaction.
Well, it's a Ninja Turtle toy line. It just has Savage Dragon characters.
Jim Lee's TMNT.
Yeah.
Oh, which I'm so. I just threw up in my mouth.
That just cured my constipation.
For the listener, for some reason, when the Dragon toys came out, they came out packaged with Jim Lee's version of the Ninja Turtles, which had all the Ninja Turtles except for Leonardo.
You mean Stan Levy's Leaping Lizards?
Yeah. I love that.
They were dreadful to the max.
But it was so weird. It was like, well, here's Jim Lee's interpretation, and we're going to mix them with Savage Dragon.
Dreadful. Like I said, there's no other word for what that was. Just they were
I don't
simply
understand it.
dreadful.
That was like the anti-continuity of anything. I mean, it had nothing to do with what was going. We had the dragon toys that coincided with the comic book, but then we didn't. We had the turtle toys that had nothing to do with anything except that Jim Lee drew them or designed them, and I am dumber for seeing those, and may God have mercy on his soul.
And they didn't even produce the Leonardo one.
No.
You know what? Can I just say, like, for as much shit as Liefeld gets over the Captain America, like, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger, like, boobs picture, anytime anyone wants to be like, Jim Lee is a god, I just want to show them those turtles. Those deserve to be shared just as much.
Jim Lee can draw like a motherfucker.
Oh,
he can't design shit.
You know, I haven't actually seen these guys before. Yeah, these guys suck.
Oh, is this your first? Okay, hold on. No, this is precious.
Oh, Jim Lee's TMNT. You're looking it up.
Yeah,
and this is your
Cyber
first exposure?
Raph
Tell us what you're going through.
And well, I'm feeling emotions. Most of them, like Raph looks like cybernetic Bane, and Mikey looks like he's wearing like a scuba suit with a robot arm for some reason.
Scuba Steve.
And Donatello is what? Some kind of masked man? These are
Simply
bad.
Red.
And then you look at the Leonardo
Ooh,
one,
the
and you
concept
realize
sketch.
why.
He's freaking Thor. Why?
And then you realize why they never made the figure.
I believe
He's
Craig
got
said it
chains
best.
around his wrists.
Craig said it best. We said Jim Lee's a goddamn beast of an artist, but he is not a designer.
These are
Nope.
bad.
Oh, yeah, that's wretched.
Although apparently there's a prototype of the Leonardo toy. It looks even worse in real life.
That's so bad.
Yeah, they're bad.
And so
I do love...
Dragon got lumped in with this toy line.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, like they said, that it just really has no... Like, there was no reason for that at all. Like, you know, didn't make any sense, didn't connect.
Do you see the dragon with the sleeveless trench coat?
I am doing a deeper dive. Here is Dragon as a cop. Here's, well, Barbaric. He looks pretty good. Oh, yes, here's Dragon with his head tilted to the side.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
With the ripped coat, yes.
Yeah, the tilt. That's right.
I guess that seems to have been how
To fit it in the package.
Yeah, apparently, I think the coat must have taken up too much space or something. But yeah, that's what. Yeah, okay.
So tell us what you're feeling.
Well, these
Like
look
what-
good.
Yeah, the dragons look
Dragon
cool,
toys
right?
all look cool. Barbaric looks okay. I don't know what Eric was complaining about in those references in the SOS era with the Barbaric toy having skinny arms. He looks pretty good here.
I thought Barbaric was pretty solid.
They had two she-dragons. So they couldn't just make a different figure. They had to make long hair and mohawk hair.
Oh, geez.
She-dragon.
Although, I'm probably the only person on Earth who prefers regular hair to mohawk.
I mean, they're
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah,
I'm kind of
probably.
either or.
They all had mini comics too.
Well, I think they all had the same mini comic.
They all had different covers though. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about
I
that
forget.
at a future date.
I have one of the dragons. I think somewhere. I don't know why. What's the point? I don't know. It's in a box somewhere. There's no point. I don't.
Craig's a nihilist. Nothing matters.
It's all, we're all dust eventually. Just to bring it back real quick to the issue,
Yeah, let's bring it back.
because we got in the weeds a little, but I think it was a trip worth taking. I think that it's cool, even just the dialogue of Dragon, where he's talking about, he's in New York, and he's like, why not Supreme? Why not Youngblood? He's like, don't they have any do-gooders here? And it's kind of just funny, because it's New York, where obviously the most superheroes are in Marvel.
Right.
So it's just kind of like almost, there's a little bit of comedy there. Plus, it's that cool connected Image universe at the beginning they had, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna get jumped by a few New York superheroes anyway.
Yeah, and this action is great, dude. I think Dragon looks badass in that panel where, like,
fucking Raph's jumping him, and Leonardo has the like katana at his throat. You know.
I love that panel where you've got the nunchucks just spinning, and he's coming down and whap. We win as he whaps Dragon across the face.
I mean, they're just teenagers, dude. I like an early Dragon. He was just gonna shoot them the fuck up. He was like, "You look like Swiss cheese in a minute." And he's got the gun. He's just gonna just blast him to hell. He didn't use a gun a lot in the later of the series, you know, but he was a gun-toting motherfucker in these early issues. And yeah, dude, this panel of Michelangelo just coming there with the swinging nunchucks is absolutely beautiful. All this again, this action just like holds up.
They shift off to fighting that giant gargoyle thing. Some more fisticuffs.
What blows my mind is that, you know, we go through this whole issue, and the action is brilliant, and then we've got the chick that, you know, we don't see in Dragon,
right? Virago.
Yeah. For how many issues?
Oh,
not until the honeymoon.
150 probably.
Yeah.
So
it blew my mind that we didn't see her in anything. Well, no, I shouldn't say anything.
She's in the crossover.
Yes, but we don't see her in a Dragon issue for like 150 issues.
And no, more than that.
Craig just looked
208.
208 issues
200.
later.
Oh, right.
She appears
the
in
Malcolm
210.
Maxine honeymoon.
Yeah.
Remember when she showed up? See, I had never read the Mirage crossover, so I was like, "What the hell?" Like, deep cut.
I mean, look at this costume and the effort that goes in, like all the little tassel things with the little like rings on down her like sleeves.
Her hair, dude. That hair is
Well,
number
here's
one.
the crazy thing, because I also never read the crossover for years. I thought it was just Zealot just showing up for no reason.
Zealot. Right.
From Wildcats for the listeners.
Right.
I thought it was just some random crossover appearance.
Yeah, this design is purely a time capsule. She's absolutely a woman of her age. You know what I mean? Like, if you design
like
this now,
VH1, I love the 90s.
Yeah, if you design Virago now, people be like, no, honey, you can't. you got to take all those fucking tassels off. Giant shoulder, that hair, what? Insane, dude. I love it though. I mean, it's fucking crazy as it looks. I mean, it's like she showed up. What 200? You said 208 issues later, and you instantly recognized her. So I mean, that's something. You know, that's not nothing.
Right.
Yeah, but
and then you're like going, when was the last time I saw her? Oh wait, yeah, issue 2.
Issue 2.
For a second, unnamed.
Unnamed in this issue, right?
Unnamed in this issue. She was never named in this issue.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, she doesn't even speak. She's just looking on. And so this issue ends with the Turtles and Dragon going their separate ways, and then we get another follow-up to the Horridus house.
Back in old DeKalb.
Which then we still don't know what's going on. We just know that now that there's
something's escalating.
A dead body,
yep.
Yeah, and someone's behind a door.
But the crazy thing about this issue is that it's actually fucking loaded.
Yeah.
I mean the main story is only 20 pages long, I counted, I believe, which is pretty short for this era because this was a 22-page main story era.
Mm-hmm.
But we get
it's $1 more, so he was charging $2.95 instead of $1.95.
Yeah.
But you were getting $1 worth. Good lord, dude.
It was a double size. It's funny though, he doesn't even like tout it on the issue at all.
Well,
like,
it's a flip book.
Doesn't say double sized or anything.
I think the flip book's supposed to give that away.
Yeah.
But before we get to the flip book, there is a star back up here.
Well, don't forget the pinups too. So we got like.
I don't care about pinups.
Well, I'm just saying.
Waste of space.
It's cool. It's cool that there's
Could be
two
comics.
pinups.
It's not.
Ah, you son of a gun. You
Could be comics. It's not.
dirty son of a gun. I like these pinups. Anyway, Star.
Michael Dooney has got a pinup, which we'll be visiting in a future FinCast for his.
Wait, which was the
Ninja
which was
Turtles
the which was the
crossover.
Dooney pinup? It's the
The one that's Dragon and some crazy Asgardian chick against a bunch of
Robots.
Kirby robots.
oh, that one. Wait a minute, I want to find that one. I can't find it.
It's right after the litters page. And
Now,
the,
and it looks. Wait, maybe I'm looking.
Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, okay.
It looks like the fin is going behind his.
Yeah, that's not a great fin.
Yeah. The segment's missing at the very
But
bottom.
again,
Well, it looks like it's going behind his back.
yeah, like all the
behind
way
his
down his
arm.
back.
Yeah.
yeah, there was a tangent on his shoulder.
This is a guy that's going to be drawing the Dragon Turtles
But
crossover.
I
for
don't
Mirage.
blame anybody getting the fin wrong in this era because, like I said, Eric's getting it wrong, so your references aren't very good.
Well,
Hey,
hilariously,
I've gotten it wrong a few times, so I can't. Hey,
The
Well,
the front,
I can't
the
complain.
front. What's the one? What's the word I'm looking for? The front
Segment?
segment is a 95-degree angle to his forehead. That's really all you got to get right.
well, hilariously, on the very opposite page, there he is getting it right.
That's not all you got to get right, though. There's only like 5 segments now, right?
In
Or
5
something?
segments, yes. Well, he gets it right in the sense that it's like identical to the one that's on the miniseries issue 1 cover,
Right.
And the thing is,
which I
though,
assume everyone uses as a reference.
are you talking about the basically the crossover cover?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well, that's because Larson's inking it.
right.
Oh.
I'm sure Larson corrected it.
Larson inked that? Okay.
Yes, he did
Yeah.
make that. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the cover is drawn by penciled by Dooney and inked by Larson. And
Yeah,
the-
it's,
Then we get another we get a Leonardi pinup.
yeah.
Which I love Leonardi. His dragon doesn't look too great here, but again, it's an era where Dragon's look isn't really set in stone yet.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's issue 2 for crying out loud, so
Mm-hmm.
it's still a sweet pinup, I think.
But I do hate, like, one of my pet peeves on like Dragon, like other artists drawing Dragon. I hate when they give him like weird footwear that he never like that Larson never puts him in. Like that's the one thing that throws me off. Like when someone else draws Dragon, if he's not wearing like his like police black boots or like Chuck Taylors or something, like it looks weird to me.
Now, I get you, because what's weird is these appear to be thigh tight, but then loose and baggy right there where the boot hits.
The mullet of boots.
It's a weird choice, but yeah, it's still a solid pinup
Also,
overall.
Dragon would never tuck his pant legs.
No. No.
So
And-
Dragon's not a tucker.
No.
No.
Okay.
It lets it
Has
swing.
he ever wielded a nightstick? He's got a nightstick there.
I,
Has Larson ever
No,
drawn
but
him with a
people always
nightstick?
draw him with, like, I think Adam Hughes drew him with it. Like, it's a thing
Yeah.
people like to include.
it's, how
Well,
you, it's how you can tell he's a cop.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's just weird that Eric's never really had him swinging a nightstick.
Well,
No.
probably because
I guess he's got those big meaty fists.
he doesn't really need it.
I don't think I've ever seen
Yeah.
Dragon handcuff anyone either.
No. It usually knocks him unconscious.
Yeah. It drags him in.
All right, so this star backup is written by Eric and penciled by Rob Haynes and inked by Tony Harris. Tony Harris...
Rob Haynes.
Haynes, okay.
I was like, heinous.
Heinous?
Yeah,
I was
heinous.
like, no way.
Haynes,
Now,
Haynes.
Tony Harris...
I'm glad you said it. I was biting my tongue.
I'm
on
bad
that
with
one.
names. Tony Harris, I know. I don't know the other guy.
No, it's not bad.
I
No.
like it. Yeah, it's got a
I do
weird
too.
style, but I like it.
Well, it's got... How
It
do I
is
describe it? It's got a...
It's very open.
open. Yes,
Yeah.
that was the word I was looking for. Open.
Yep.
Like ink-wise.
Well, there's especially on Star. Star's primarily defined by like those shadows, and then on the hair it's just out, like loose, like you said. So
Which I think works good for this issue because Inferno is kind of like a bright character, so it really emphasizes the shadows.
The
and
coloring is the real
light.
star here because it's doing all the like you said, because Inferno's so bright, so you're getting a lot of highlights.
Like that scene where like it's the second page of the story and Star's up on the girder and looking down, and all the construction guys are kind of running. That looks great. Like the shadows of like the guys running away.
can I just say though that Inferno did Star the biggest favor in history,
Really?
burning that ugly ass mop off his head.
I love that hair.
I hated it, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I hate his fucking hair. So when it was gone, it was like,
I think Eric realized that too after the mini, and he saw it and was like, "Nah, we can't."
I
have
don't
this."
know. I love it when Johnson took the star mantle and he got the long hair. I thought it looked great. Because
That hair
otherwise,
looks
he just
like
kind of
dog
looks like
shit.
Spider-Man. He doesn't look interesting if he doesn't.
no,
have
he
hair.
doesn't. He doesn't look like Spider-Man.
He
I hate
looks
that.
a lot
I hate
like
that comment.
Spider-Man.
No, I hate that comment, dude. That means anybody with goggles and a full-on face mask
Yeah,
looks like
they
Spider-Man.
basically look like Spider-Man. Yes.
Fucking no.
I gotta agree. I feel like Star is Larson.
Stars.
Well, I mean, I know he
Spider-Man.
is. I know he is, but I'm saying he doesn't look like him.
No.
He's a finesse character with goggles. Yeah, Spider-Man.
How about Inferno taking like stars to the forehead and still walking around?
Well,
He's a little bit of a
he's
badass,
made
right?
Of fire. I'd assume they melt.
I don't know.
Uh-oh, mother. I like the we get a mother gag in here.
Well, not so much the stars. He gets hit by a girder. He takes that. He's pretty tough.
Yeah.
He even has a catchphrase callback where he yells "die, die, die." Remember that's how he die, die, like to say it's kind of cool.
Wait,
I like it.
Where does he take stars to the face? Oh, I guess in. Okay, there. Yeah.
He's got him in that RAM panel that ends with
Oh
now
well, you
die
can
already.
see him. You can see it.
Star
fine.
jumps on top over
yeah,
him
be
and
that
shoots
way,
down.
and he's like shooting him right in his head.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Point blank.
Okay. They're hard to see because they're primarily ink. They're not colored red. Okay.
No.
Now I see them. Yes. Okay.
But even a normal person could survive a star to the face. Just saying,
Not
it would hurt like hell.
really.
But
Yeah. Get
'Cause that's
outta
a-
it hurt
here.
like hell, but you'd live.
I don't know. It's embedded in your skull. I'd imagine it's touching your brain. That's real bad.
I mean, maybe you guys.
That's real bad.
I'd be fine.
But yeah, this is a.
It's like touching your brain.
That's real bad. I like it. It's true. You're right. I'm a moron.
So yeah, this is a pretty good, just quick backup with we get some more Star because he's going to become important later.
I
think
feel
it's
like
a
Star
solid
never got
backup.
developed.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, it is. It's good.
Wait a
Wait,
minute. What just
good
got
art.
said?
What?
You guys both sort of at the same time. What?
Oh, I was saying I think it's a solid backup. The anatomy's good, the lighting's good.
Yes.
Stylistically, I don't hate it. I think it's
The layouts are decent.
Yeah.
There's
for,
nothing confusing.
No, for issue 2 backup, I think I think it's really solid, and I think it tells a really nice backup on Star, and it gets rid of that damn mop.
I gotta agree. Co-signed. I just am agreeing with everything you said.
So we're not done yet. We got one last story to talk about. We take this issue and we flip it upside down, and we get a whole new comic.
Wait a minute. Just sweet pinups. I'm sorry. I'm not going to neglect these. You got a sweet dragon pinup. You got a sweet super patriot pinup. You got a
All
sweet
right.
mighty man.
I'm
Sweet
gonna disagree.
overlord.
That dragon pinup, the neck. What is going on with the neck?
I mean,
Does,
it's
does
like
your neck have abs?
yeah. Doesn't your neck? Yeah. The dragon pinup, I'm not that wild about. Super
Okay.
Patriot works good. I like the Mighty Man. I
Yeah.
like the Overlord. I like even the Star.
I don't like the star. That one I'm not hot on.
These all appear to be Haynes.
I don't like I like the Star better than I like the Dragon.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah, these all appear to be Rob Haynes, who did the backup.
Okay.
His pinups.
They're decent.
Cool, though. I like them. Anyway, you're right. Vanguard Zero on the flip.
Yep, it's not even like a preview. It's literally a prequel, a lead-in to the miniseries that we will definitely be covering in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
Just real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the cover's kind of neat with him bursting through the number 2 cover, dragon cover.
Yeah, I love it. I love him bursting through.
What were you gonna say there, Scott?
I'm looking at the first splash page. And
Oh yeah. Well, let's go over the creative team because Eric is co-creator and editor, where Gary Carlson is co-creator and writer. It's penciled by Tom Coker and inked by Jim Sinclair. These are two people I have never heard of.
Tom goes on to do the first of the regular series. So Vanguard, I don't know. I feel like the artist is good, but I feel like not good for Vanguard. We know it. Like for me, when I remember like not being much into Vanguard at all after reading this. Like, this is nothing that excites me.
I lost any interest in Vanguard after this. I couldn't read it because I was not a fan of the art, and I don't think they did Vanguard justice. After seeing Eric's rendition of Vanguard, after seeing what Frank Fosco did with Vanguard, I just this was my first introduction to Vanguard, and I was like totally turned off. Because I couldn't read. To me, the art made it, unreadable. It was almost like a Travis Charest kind of weird. Nothing looked like it flowed.
Right.
Yeah, I see.
I think Vanguard's like body shape changes a lot panel to panel. It doesn't stay consistent. But I do think the actual like layouts are pretty good. I think it flows well.
And this again is a period where no one knew what Vanguard really was supposed to be like until Eric really kind of showed everyone his proportions. But as a character, I think Eric's proportions make the character so much more interesting. For me, I totally remember because I was super into Savage Dragon. This was my comic when I was, when this came out. And I remember like flipping it and really just having like zero interest in Vanguard until later on when he kind of was a regular supporting cast. But I didn't.
So you didn't
go out and buy the series because of this. Like I saw this, and I was like, I'm bored. I can't. Like same thing as Scott saying, like I can't get through.
So
it.
you didn't
it's
like
not fun.
All these like random like horror monsters, and then
I'm looking at that Pit character
Pit looks
and the
great.
anatomy.
No, it doesn't.
Well, Pit's anatomy is always
anatomy.
garbage.
No,
but
dude.
the anatomy is just wretched.
Del Keown is like one of the most fucking badass guys for anatomy, and this Pit's anatomy is not okay.
I don't know. When I see like the actual Pit, it doesn't look much better than this.
You just need to look at Del Keown's art again. Like I'm just saying, like Del Keown's Pit is fucking. That anatomy on Pit is TNT.
But for me, like even as a kid, like I probably would have thought the art was decent or good enough. Like I wasn't really looking at anatomy. I mean, I was a fan of like Liefeld and stuff like that. But still, like the story was not that interesting. It's like, all right, how many different image guys can we throw in there?
Well, that's the whole gag.
It turns out, I know it's the whole gag, but it just after you read the gag, it was like, this doesn't make me want to seek out this guy's comic.
And it ties directly into its cliffhanger because it like. He's just
and what
right?
And what's going on with Vanguard in that next panel where he looks like a midget?
Yeah, you're talking about when he's on his back.
Yeah,
that is just it's rough. It's hard.
Wait, which page? What he's on his back?
You got like the Pit.
Oh yeah, okay. So
and then the maybe too much
the
better
perspective on that's pretty bad.
That ties into what you said, Jim, where like everything is just changing on Vanguard way too much.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
And then there's even that like sort of Wolverine.
Well, no, not sort of Wolverine. Absolutely is Wolverine.
And I'm just I'm never into
I don't
that.
know. I thought that was a good gag.
So now you like it.
This guy looks like a real predator, a real killer. He's smug, very confident. He must be good at whatever he does. If you were stupid enough to let him do it.
I'm not hating on the writing. I'm hating on Wolverine.
I feel like
so you should
Eric,
love the fact that he got his ass shot off.
I know.
I feel like in a way Eric found a weird way to make Vanguard strangely like a handsome kind of dashing dude.
Yeah.
Where even as ugly as he is, like with his nose and everything, that other artists weren't able to capture until Eric started doing it.
I think Joe Mad got it right too, but that's it.
Oh,
yeah.
I would agree with that.
But that's
it's
it.
it's almost like they're trying to make him. When I look at the nose, it's almost like they're trying to do a Morbius.
Right.
I get
Yeah,
you.
like a bat.
A living vampire kind of thing.
Yeah, and it doesn't work.
How funny is it though that one panel where is the Sentinel guy from Youngblood blasts off Dragon's head and the fin is just flying off the page?
Right.
Oh,
You see the fin almost off panel, the glasses and the
That's
fin.
not Chapel.
I think it
no,
is,
it's-
isn't it?
It's not Chapel. There's another guy from Youngblood that looks like that, or maybe it is Chapel. Maybe I'm wrong. Isn't there Sentinel?
I think
or
it's
something?
pre-skull-faced Chapel is what I think it is.
I don't know. Does it
But
matter?
on
Yeah.
the last 2 pages, Vanguard does bulk up a bit. He looks a bit more on model.
Yeah, it's funny because it's like he definitely, as this went on, he seemed to get it. And that Wally's TNT.
Yeah, Wally's good. Although Supreme's looking pretty haggard.
Yeah, it's a rough Supreme.
But then again, Supreme always kind of looks rough because Liefeld.
I think you're wrong. No. You know what, though? I all in all, like, I can't say that this has the same impact on me, but I will tell you that, like, where I was just like, ugh, I have no interest in Vanguard at all, but I will tell you that I just didn't read it.
Right.
Like, I was just like,
I couldn't get past the art.
Well,
I couldn't get past
we'll
the art
make
to
you
read
read
it.
it, Raven.
I'm reading it now, baby. I'm looking at it now. So, it's cool. I mean, hey, guys, it was free. Vanguard Zero didn't cost you a dime.
Well, no, it cost you $1.
I know, it's, small print.
So that's it. That's Savage Dragon issue number 2, which, despite everything, is a chunky ass book.
Yes.
It is.
And so you even at $2.95 and $19.90, I think you got your money's worth.
Yeah. Inflation-wise, I think this was a $6 book. I mean, if you bought it now, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So next
I
time
would buy it again.
you'll buy it again
Oh yeah.
2 or 3 times.
I don't know about 2 or 3 times, but I'd buy it again. I mean, it's a solid read. I would not again read the Vanguard, but I would totally read the Star backup. I like the artwork better in the Star backup than I do the Vanguard.
Fair enough. So you've never read the Vanguard, the 6-issue Vanguard series? Okay. Because the Vanguard, that series is problematic because each issue has a different artist, which is a problem for consistency.
The only consistency is that it's inconsistent.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, that was his downfall.
Yeah.
I will say though that as a follow up to issue 1, having the Ninja Turtles show up is pretty fucking TNT. So that's cool. And I loved the action in the main thing and all those pinups, and again the action in the Star backup was good. So for me, issue number 2 is 5 fins out of 5 fins.
Really,
There's
that many.
Yep.
in A Force to Be Reckoned With, in the preface where Eric writes his little blurb, he talks about how in the first bunch of issues he had other artists do backups because he wasn't sure he would be able to keep up with the flow of the book and keep the book coming out consistently because he kind of stumbled out the gate. But then he got a lot of flack, I guess, in the letters of people buying the comic and then half of it not being his art or whatever.
See,
which doesn't make sense to me for issue 2. But I guess maybe in other issues. But he talks about how he stopped doing that after a while.
You listened to
after the first 6
listened
issues.
to the wrong people. It's not like he was skimping on the lead story. He was still doing 22 page lead stories.
I think people didn't want to pay. So think about this in 90, what is this, 2 or 3?
92, I
What
think
year
we
is this?
said.
Yeah, so you're paying $1.95.
Those fucking
now you're paying a whole
cheapskates.
extra third. I'm just saying, for someone back then, that was probably a lot. An extra $1 for a comic, and half of it is by a bunch of artists that you don't care about.
See,
What now? I'm saying as a kid buying that's probably where a lot of the complaints were. Like, I don't want to pay this whole extra $1 for other artists.
Artist followers, it's their fault.
Guilty as charged.
Eric wrote it all. It's good. It's good value for me.
Silence, Jim.
Silence.
You know what? I will say that I see what those little punks were saying, but you know what? I always think it's more bang for your buck. So take that, kids of '92.
It's my experience that comic readers are the worst at math. When you buy, when they see a $10 price tag, they don't understand that they're buying 100-page comics, and the value is better.
Dude, already with issue 250 coming, I saw people be like, "Oh my god, $12 or whatever it's going to be," and they were like, 10. They were like, "Oh my god, that's crazy!" It's like, you get 100 pages, you mook,
you morons,
you magoo.
I didn't even balk at the not work for safe cover when I bought that. I was like, "Oh, sold."
What was that? Was that a higher price?
Well, that whole issue was.
Oh right, yeah.
What, $11.99?
Was it?
I'll pay it. I don't
wait,
give a
was
shit.
it? Was that 120? 225?
225, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Had the crash zone.
I don't think there's ever been a $12.99 Dragon book. I think pretty sure $10 is as high as it's went.
Well, no, I think it was $11.99.
Really?
And I remember people bitching about that, and they were like, "Well, can't believe it." And it's like, guys, this is 100 pages. This is a massive collaborative, project.
Well, and I think the non-work, the adult cover was more than the actual book because they had to wrap it differently.
You needed a poly bag.
Yeah, but you didn't. But the difference is there. You don't have to buy that cover.
No, I didn't.
If you're worried about the price.
But I wanted to.
No, I know. I'm just saying for the person complaining about the price.
Exactly. Just buy the regular, off the rack, whatever.
Well,
you don't have to get the specialty.
Remember when he was kind of doing a lot of variants there for a hot minute?
Yeah.
And I remember people were bitching about variants, and it's like, use some self-control. You don't have to own all those variants. If it's a problem and you want to complain about it, don't indulge in it.
Which is crazy because it's not nearly as much as all the other. IDW has got subscriber variant, whatever variant. It's there's a million variants.
The entire mainstream corporate comic business model is based around variant covers now. Yes. They got to sell 3 copies of the same issue to make their numbers. It's ridiculous. It's exploitative.
Yeah.
It's exploitative, in my opinion,
Big
on
time.
People who obsess about complete collections.
At the same time, you know what? At the same time, you don't have to. No one's holding a goddamn gun to your head saying, collect all these covers. That's all. Plus, I think, doesn't Dragon always include the back, the pinups in the back, usually?
Yeah.
The other covers are usually in the back, so it's not like you're not getting to see them or own them.
Right.
It's just what's different on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
So, those variants...
But the collection, Raven. But the collection.
Any rates, thank you for listening to our nostalgic romp through Savage Dragon 1 and 2. Next FINcast, join us as we visit the Savage Dragon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mirage crossover, part 2 of this issue 2 here. And then it is going to be Savage Dragon main series issue number 3. Yep. So more turtles and a little bit of Fiend action. Thank you, Scott, for joining us. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, listeners.
That was fun.
I'm required to be here.
Wow.
He really wanted to be on a Legion podcast, but it's okay. I mean, we'll talk about Matter Eater Lad one day.
Yes, we will.
One day on this. All right, listeners. Thanks a bunch.